that has really helped us further the investigation and aid investigators. One point I just want to clarify is Robert Cremo III, he's 21. He'll be 22 in September of this year, and he's a resident of Highwood. So throughout the past 24 hours, investigators have spoken with numerous witnesses, some of the survivors. They've had the opportunity to review numerous video clips, both from cell phone video recordings and fixed cameras in the area, and they've conducted a number of other follow-up investigations. And based on where we're at this point in the investigation, and some of this is still preliminary, so is subject to change as we keep moving forward, but we do believe Cremo pre-planned this attack for several weeks. He brought a high-powered rifle to this parade. He accessed the roof of a business via a fire escape ladder and began opening fire on the innocent Independence Day celebration goers. The rifle was purchased in Illinois, and the information we have thus far is that it appears to have been purchased legally by Cremo. During the attack, Cremo was dressed in women's clothing, and investigators do believe he did this to conceal his facial tattoos and his identity and help him during the escape with the other people who were fleeing the chaos. During the attack, we believe that Cremo fired more than 70 rounds from this rifle into the crowd of innocent people. Following the attack, Cremo exited the roof, he dropped his rifle, and he blended in with the crowd, and he escaped. He walked to his mother's home, who lived in the area, and he blended right in with everybody else as they were running around, almost as he was an innocent spectator as well. He borrowed his mother's vehicle. We issued an alert yesterday afternoon. Chief Jogman provided the vehicle information and Cremo's information. We're very thankful that an alert member of the community saw Cremo's vehicle traveling southbound on Route 41, dialed 911. An alert North Chicago police officer spotted the vehicle, waited for additional backup units to arrive, conducted a traffic stop, and they were able to safely apprehend Cremo with no injuries to the officers. Inside the vehicle, there was a second rifle located. Indications is that was purchased by Cremo as well. Thus far, over 30 people were injured during the attack, and this does not include the 6 who lost their lives. Right now, Cremo remains in custody at this time. There are no indications that there was anybody else involved in this attack. By all indications, it appears Cremo was acting by himself. The Lake County State's Attorney's Office has been with us from the ground level. They're with us this morning. They were with us through the night. We continue to review the information. Investigators are still developing leads and very critical information. Once we're at a point where we're ready to review all of that information for charges, we will sit down with the state's attorney and review for criminal charges. I'm going to turn this over to the mayor, and then I'll be back up to answer questions. Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Today is a day of grieving together, a day to pause, a day to remember those who left us, those who were injured, and for strength for our community. Several vigil and prayer services are taking place today, both inside and beyond Highland Park. They are as follows. The Community Church of Lake Bluff, 117 East Scranton Avenue, Lake Bluff, will hold a prayer service today at noon. The service will include prayer and music at Christ Church on the corner of Route 60 and Waukegan Avenue in Lake Forest. Trinity Grace Church and Christ Church has organized a community prayer gathering at 3 p.m. at Trinity Grace Church, 1506 Half Day Road, Highland Park. Everyone is welcome. Highland Park Presbyterian Church, Trinity Episcopal, and other area faith leaders will hold an ecumenical community prayer vigil today at 7 p.m. at the Highland Park Presbyterian Church, 330 Laurel Avenue, Highland Park. All are welcome. Today, Highland Park High School, located at 433 Vine Avenue, in conjunction with community partners, is hosting crisis counseling until 2 p.m. and is open to everyone. No appointments are necessary. Additionally, a Family Assistance Center will open tomorrow, July 6th at noon, to provide support services and crisis assistance to those who were directly impacted at the parade. The location and hours of operations are pending. We'll get that information to the community as soon as we have it. Please go to the city website for more information. The Highland Park Police Department, the American Red Cross, and the FBI Victim Services Response Team are assisting with additional partners. The teams will engage with victims and families to assess their immediate needs and provide crisis intervention and other forms of emergency assistance. Anyone who is a victim of the incident and is in need of support can call 800-CALL-FBI. I know what a generous community we are a part of, and we are overwhelmed with the amount of support offered not only from those in Highland Park, but the surrounding region and throughout the nation. Thank you. For those who are looking to donate to victims and in support of the community, we ask that you be mindful of potential scams on GoFundMe and other fundraising avenues. This afternoon, we'll share additional information on the city's website regarding how to donate to the victims, survivors, and those who support the community. For all who have reached out with offers of equipment, food, and professional services, we thank you. Thank you all for coming out today. I'll now turn the mic back to Deputy Chief Cavelli.
Thanks, Mayor. Any questions?
Yes. Justin, can you tell us about the motivation? Is the suspect cooperating, answering questions, and what more are you learning about the motivation either from him or from his online footage?
At this point, we have not developed a motive from him. Investigators are very much furthering the investigation. They have been in discussions with him. I don't have anything to say about motivation thus far because it hasn't been provided.
Sir, we've seen disturbing videos online. Were warning signs missed?
The question was, there's disturbing videos online that have been seen. We are reviewing those. Those are going to be a part of any investigation efforts by our task force investigators, Highland Park Police. We'll look at them and we'll see what they reveal.
Phil.
Phil.
Give us an idea where in Illinois did he purchase the weapons, and also when he went to his mother's house, did he tell her what he had done, or was she unaware?
The question was, where did he purchase the weapons, and did he tell his mother what he had done? He purchased the weapons locally, within the region, so the Chicagoland area. When he went to his mother's, we have no indication that he provided any information to her.
And can you give us an idea of how many weapons did he purchase, and when was it?
So he was in possession of the firearm the day of, the rifle. He was in possession of another rifle in his vehicle when he was pulled over by police. He also had other firearms that were recovered from a residence that he was living in Highwood.
Chris, all in his name?
They were in his name.
And all legally purchased?
They were legally purchased.
Chris, his level of disguise, right? So how did you guys identify him at this point? I mean, clearly there was a lot of planning. Do you have an idea when he placed himself on the roof? Like, is there a timeline?
So we are working on the timeline, and we don't want to come out with inaccurate information on timing. One of the asks that we have is members of the community, if you have any video of this individual that is walking toward the parade, at the parade, potentially on the roof or exiting, to please call 1-800-CALL-FBI. As far as the disguise went, he wore that in an attempt to conceal himself.
Do you have pictures of that you can offer? I mean, what did he look like? Or?
Potentially, I'll look into that and I'll have to get back to you.
How did you identify him?
Considering the extensive digital trail, the disturbing videos, the amount of views garnered, was he known to law enforcement beforehand? And if not, why not?
I can't get into that right now. There have been some law enforcement contacts, nothing of a violent nature. I can't get into the specifics of the context of that.
And how many rifles? Our colleagues at NBC News are reporting that he purchased multiple weapons. Can you give us any details as to the weapons and how many he may have been in possession of?
At this time, I know of the 2 rifles, and I know that there were potentially pistols that he had owned as well.
Chief,
Sir.
Sir, has he made any statements to investigators, and does he have an attorney?
I'm not going to go into what he may or may not have said. The investigation is still moving forward. I'll provide that information later on.
Can you break down?
Targeted anyone specific, or was shooting randomly?
Shooting appears to be completely random.
Is it possible he chose the community because of the high population of Jewish people? I know people are concerned that it was an anti-Semitic attack.
We have no information to suggest at this point it was racially motivated by religion, or any other protected status.
And
Chris, with all the
about
videos that
purchase,
appeared on...
I believe still in place is an assault rifle ban in Highland Park. Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't have information on that right now, but we will get back to you on specifics.
With all the videos of Cremo prior to this, did anyone ever call Highland Park Police or tip off authorities that these were online?
No, we were not made aware of these videos.
Chris,
How did you identify him as a suspect? Through surveillance video or by tracing the gun?
So investigators did a really good job. The ATF was phenomenal yesterday. They expedited a trace of the firearm. That was a major investigative lead for us. In addition to that, the witness statements, the videos that we obtained from people that turned them in, and the businesses, they all helped us tremendously.
Can you break down the number of injuries, not the deceased, and can you also then further break down how many of those were gunshot victims and how many of the injured were not gunshot victims?
The information I have right now is that all of those that were either transported to the hospital or self-drove themselves to the hospital were injured by gunfire. So over 30 individuals that were injured by the gunfire, and they went to the 3 hospitals we mentioned yesterday.
Do you have any more info on the ages?
As a woman, how were you able to identify so early on that you were looking for a male?
He was identified by a number of, there were police officers that were able to recognize his photo once it was revealed, and that helped tremendously.
So Chris, can you help us to understand, when you say you know he was dressed as a woman during the shooting, is that based on photographic evidence or what eyewitnesses have said? And also, can you tell us what type of weapon was used?
So it was a high-powered rifle that was used. It was shot high-velocity rounds.
Was it AR-15?
It could be similar to an AR-15. It was similar to an AR-15. As far as identifying him with the woman's, he was seen on video camera in the woman's clothes. Video camera played a tremendous role in how we were able to identify him both leaving initially and as he left.
Are they duplicates? The guns the same, and were they bought at the scene? No.
Different and bought at separate locations.
What's the status on current charges?
Did he have a wig on because it was reported that it was a...
I'm not exactly sure what the woman's attire consisted of. Initially, it was reported that this person had long hair, so a wig isn't out of the question.
Can you tell us more about the business where he was? Which group was he on? And how did he get there exactly?
Can you repeat that?
Can you tell us more about the business where he was? Which group was it and how did he get there?
It was a local business right in that vicinity. I'm not sure the name of the business. He was able to access the roof through a ladder that's affixed to the side of the building. We'll take 3 more, okay?
What happened with that clothing? Did he dump it somewhere or did he have it on him?
Have you talked to his parents at all? We've talked with teachers who he was with in elementary school that have contacted his parents several times saying there were issues with him as a teen and a young child growing up. What type of
Sure.
cooperation?
One of the things that is important to remember here is the diligence and investigation. We're going to reach out to everybody we possibly can that has information, firsthand information about him, whether that's family members, teachers, friends, whoever it is that has information. But it does take time. It takes time to gather who may know him, who knew him in the past, teachers. That is something that task force investigators are working on. They've interviewed a number of people thus far, but please keep in mind we're 24 hours in. There's a lot of work to be done here. We're not done. I don't want to get into levels of cooperation.
Were the weapons modified at all?
No indication the weapons were modified.
Okay, one more. Have any children passed away?
No children have passed away. We'll take your last one.
They gave when he bought the weapon. What address did he give?
I'm not sure what address he gave. I can get back to you on that. All right, we'll be back this afternoon about 3 o'clock. We hopefully have an updated status on charges. He'll remain in custody at this point.
3 o'clock.
Thank you.
Hey, can you talk about how you knew him as a young boy?
Just let me know, okay? It's not...
Sorry, Telemundo.